Hello, and welcome to our webinar, Graphic Novels for All. I'm Sarah Hunter, Books for Youth and Graphic Novels editor at Booklist. Before we begin, I'd like to go over some technical details. Today's slide presentation and title list were included in the reminder email you received from Zoom 1 hour ago. To download them, please open that email, scroll to the bottom, and click on the links located there. You can also download the slides and title list by typing the URLs on this screen into your web browser. If you have any trouble, please contact us at webinars@booklistonline.com. The audience is in listen-only mode, but we welcome any questions you may have. On the bottom of your screen is a toolbar with a section for Q&A. If you have a question or need technical assistance, simply click Q&A and type your message into the box that appears. We will do our best to respond to all tech-related questions, and we'll pass along all other questions to today's panelists so they can follow up with you after the webinar. Booklist offers closed captioning on all webinars. To enable or disable them on your screen, please look for and click the Show Captions icon on the toolbar mentioned earlier. If you choose to enable subtitles, you can adjust the size of them at any time by selecting Caption Settings. And finally, Booklist expects all participants to maintain an atmosphere of respect and fairness. Anyone who violates this standard of behavior, including engaging in any form of harassment, may, at the discretion of the organizers, be immediately removed. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Katie Sains, Director of Sales Book Market at Oni Press, Sam Devada, Marketing and Sales Manager at Tundra Books, Julia Wigdor, Social Media Coordinator at Tundra Books, Morgana Santilli, Sales Specialist at Yen Press, Ingrid Lorenzi, Marketing Assistant at Yen Press, and Jeffrey Lapid, Associate Sales Manager at Papercutz. We will begin with Katie Sains. Katie is the Director of Sales Book Market at Oni Press. She began her publishing career in the marketing department of Lion Forge Comics, where she helped launch best-selling and critically acclaimed graphic novels such as Brenna Thumler's Sheets, Maya Kobabe's Genderqueer, and Wendy Xu and Suzanne Walker's Mooncakes before joining the Oni Press team in 2019. When she's not sharing her love of great reads, she's most likely to be found hiking with her rambunctious pup or taking on a new DIY project. Take it away, Katie.
Thank you, Sarah, and hello, everybody. As Sarah mentioned, my name is Katie Sains. I am the Director of Sales for the Book Market here at Oni Press. You know and love us from titles such as Brenna Thumler's Sheets trilogy, Maya Kobabe's Genderqueer, Brian Lee O'Malley, Scott Pilgrim, new releases like Dracula's French Club, and so many more. And we have a bunch of great titles for you today, so let's go ahead and kick it off with the next slide. Starting out with Superpunk. So we just recently announced this title. It's by Mirte Santana and Guilherme Petreca, and it comes out next May. And think middle grade Scott Pilgrim. So if you have readers that are too young for Scott Pilgrim, but crave like those wacky world action-packed battles and killer artwork, Superpunk is the book for them. Next slide, please. So the story follows 13-year-old skateboarder Violetta, who plays a cassette tape backwards and gains superpowers, and also accidentally unleashes a world of monsters on her unsuspecting town. Next slide. So while the story takes place in modern times, it really emphasizes that retro is punk and very cool, and in scenes where Violetta battles out these giant monsters, you get to see what she's listening to. And it's all punk rock bands like Bikini Kill and the Ramones, the Specials, the Pixies, and more. So really fun for the adults reading along to see those little Easter eggs, and also shows younger readers a whole new genre of music. Next slide. So Superpunk deals with a lot of themes like self-expression, rebellion, growth, self-knowledge, and friendship, and is great for fans of Roller Girl, the Sleepover graphic novel series, and those younger fans of things like Scott Pilgrim and Stranger Things. And as I said, that releases in May. Next up. I just wanted to quickly highlight a couple of titles that we will be returning to those great worlds later this year or in early spring, starting off with Frankie and the Curious Cocoon Quest. So we re-enter the world of the lovable Frankie Fairy as she has recently lost her woolly bear caterpillar, who is her beloved pet, and starts to realize that maybe he's undergoing metamorphosis. So in this volume, she learns all about metamorphosis. It's got all of those great ecological themes and STEM themes that you've come to know and love from the Frankie series, and that releases in March. And then second, we have Jeremy Lambert and Alexa Sharp's Night Mother Volume 2. This picks up right where that first volume left off, as our hero journeys into the world of the Night Mother to try and save her father. The first volume of this cozy dark fantasy received glowing reviews from Kirkus, Publishers Weekly, School Library Journal, and Booklist, who called it an enchanting fairy tale feeling world. And that second volume releases in April. And last on this slide, we have Quincredible, A Better World. This is the newest installment of Rodney Barnes and Selena Espiritu's teen superhero tale of Quentin West, who is indestructible and living in New Orleans trying to make a difference in his community. Kirkus recently reviewed this one and spoke to the refreshing relationship that Quinn, our hero, has with his parents, especially, and how he really is part of this community and talks about his problems. So this one will be available in December. Next slide. Moving on into more of the adult titles in our presentation today. First up, we have the newest installment of our critically acclaimed Quick and Easy Guide series with A Quick and Easy Guide to Healthy Relationships by Mariah Rose Marie. Next slide. This one has inclusive advice for all kinds of relationships. So not just romantic, it's got platonic, it's got professional, educational, just like people in your community, neighbors, all of that good stuff is all covered in this volume. Next slide. One of the things that this really emphasizes is boundaries and empathy as the core to a really great relationship. So knowing yourself and knowing when you're the problem and when you're not the problem in a relationship and how to react to that. Next slide. This one is very PG, so great to be handed to readers of any age. And it is a lot of wonderful self-help tips. So folks who think that they are already experts on relationships have even said that they've learned something new while reading this volume. And that releases in December. Next slide. Next up today, we have Mine is a Long Lonesome Grave by Justin Jordan, Chris Sheehan, and Man House. Next slide. So this follows Harley, who is not a good person, and he has 7 days to live before he dies in screaming, twisted agony, thanks to a curse put on him by an unseen enemy. So now he has to either find out who put this curse on them and kill them before he dies himself. Next slide. But the only problem is that he has a ton of enemies, and he's not sure which one of them has done this to him. So he is coming for all of them. If he cannot have peace, he can at least have revenge. So this is very much like Appalachian folklore at its finest, with lots of like magic and murders going hand in hand. Next slide. It's perfect for fans of Southern Bastards, Gideon Falls, Harrow County, and releases this December. Next slide. We're going to start moving into some of our spring 2026 titles, and I'm very excited to start off with The Demon of Beausoleil by superstar creator Mari Costa. Mari is best known for her work on Life of Melody and Belle of the Ball. Next slide. This next book from Mari takes things up a notch. It follows a half-demon who has recently been disowned from his aristocratic family thanks to sleeping with his sister's fiance on the eve of their wedding. That will do it. And he has to make a living on his own now, so he decides to team up with his stoically sexy bodyguard, Elias, to make a living as a demon exorciser. But little does Elias know, demons won't be the only thing that they're fighting off as he starts to fall for his wicked employer. Next slide. This is very much a steamy boys love romance. It's got its share of a little bit spicy scenes as the demon tries to seduce and is seduced by others throughout the book. So definitely best suited for more mature readers. Next slide. It's just a ton of fun overall, though. Great for fans of Covenant and Heaven's Official Blessing and supernatural romantasy fans as well. This one comes out at the end of January 2026. Next slide. Another one we are very excited to be publishing is The First Freedom, the story of Opal Lee and Juneteenth, and this will release at the beginning of February, right in Black History Month. Next slide. This is the first graphic novel biographical look at both the life of Opal Lee and the history of Juneteenth. It tells both Opal's personal experiences growing up as a Black woman and the racial injustices experienced by her and her family and why Juneteenth means so much to her, as well as the history of the African American slaves who first experienced the freedom commemorated by Juneteenth. Next slide. This one was created in close collaboration with Opal Lee and her family. Opal Lee is often known as the grandmother of Juneteenth. She's an activist. She led multiple marches throughout the country, petitioning the president to make Juneteenth a federally recognized holiday, and it was in 2024. And she received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Joe Biden at that time as well. Next slide. So this one is very important and will stand alongside social justice graphic novels like March, Black Panther Party, Wake, and The Talk. So very important to have on your shelves when it releases. And we will be doing this simultaneously in softcover and hardcover. So I have both of those on the screen here for you today. More information in that metadata sheet that Booklist will be circulating. But the only difference here is the format and the cover. The internals are both the same. Next slide. Next up today, we have Benjamin by Ben H. Winters and Leo Max. Next slide. This follows a writer who spent his career trying to figure out what existence means, only to wake up decades after his own death, wondering if he was now living one of the sci-fi scenarios that he pondered in real life. So he's trying to solve his greatest mystery yet, which is himself. Next slide. This is much more than existential fiction, as it really examines one of the greatest diseases facing Americans today, which is loneliness. So it's both hilarious and heartbreaking in equal parts. Next slide. As I mentioned, this is by Ben H. Winters, who is a Philip K. Dick Award winner, multiple New York Times bestseller, best known for the Last Policeman trilogy. And this is his first graphic novel work. This book is perfect for fans of The Life After and Transmetropolitan. It will release in March. Next slide. Next up today, we've got Free for All by Patrick Horvath. Next slide. So Patrick Horvath may be the hottest name in comics right now. He rocketed to popularity with Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, leaving readers clamoring for more Horvath stories, and this is his first work following that success. Next slide. So this one is a billionaire fighter story. It takes place in a futuristic world where billionaires and trillionaires are faced with a choice to either donate half of their assets to the common good or defend them in ritual battle. So of course they all choose to defend them in ritual combat. Next slide. This is very gory and gripping and just cathartically timely. Great for fans of Eat the Rich, The Menu, Black Mirror, and The Hunger Games, and will release in February. Next slide. Our next one for you today is a spooky one since it is the season. So get ready for all of the horror in Plague House by Michael W. Conrad and Dave Chisholm. Next slide. This follows a priest, a skeptic, and a YouTube occult true believer who take on the scene of a quadruple homicide and begin cleansing the house. But they have a very unconventional way of cleansing the house. They actually go out and kill the folks who created the spirits in the first place. Very, very unconventional. Next slide. So this is really about the horror of the human condition. It explores what happens when one man gets in too deep trying to fix grisly misdeeds with even more grisly retribution, eventually becoming the thing he sought to exorcise. Next slide. So it is definitely best suited for mature audiences. It's a dark horror, but it's also great for fans of like The Ring, The Exorcist, The Poltergeist, and more. And it will be available in January. Next slide. Okay, and last up today, we have Dark Regards, which is the wildly true story of stand-up comedian Dave Hill's 2004 internet black metal hoax. Next slide. So if you're unfamiliar with the hoax, basically Dave Hill created a secret online identity and claimed to be the king of black metal, and he started trolling all of these Norwegian black metal bands, telling them that they weren't like hardcore enough. And so he did get a response from one of them, and the email exchange lasted almost 6 months, just getting like crazier and crazier as it went, until this band actually like flew to the States to like find and hunt down Dave Hill. So this is the first time those black metal dialogues have been told in full. Previously, he was interviewed by Malcolm Gladwell about them as well. And so you can see in the top right panel here, this is Malcolm Gladwell's first comics appearance. Next slide. So this one is cringe comedy at its finest. It was started though by Dave Hill's genuine love of black metal, and it's great for fans of movies like Heavy Trip, Lord of Chaos. This is Spinal Tap, and comics like Rick Spears' Black Metal, and it releases in March of next year. Next slide. That's all we've got for you today. So as always, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. We should have review PDFs of all of these already up on Edelweiss, but feel free to hit me up if you need anything, and I will pass it on back to Sarah. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Katie. And now we'll hear from the Tundra Books team. Sam Devada is the Marketing and Sales Manager, School and Library at Penguin Random House Canada. Since 2017, she has worked in both marketing and publicity for young readers' titles at PRHC and is now exploring the world of library sales, connecting with librarians and wholesalers across Canada, as well as at trade shows in the US, unless she's traveling for a concert. Julia Wigdor is the social media coordinator at Penguin Random House Canada Young Readers. When she isn't scrolling the apps and jumping on memes and trends, you can probably find her at Disney World or working on her latest craft obsession. She lives in Toronto, Ontario. Thanks for joining us, Sam and Julia.
Hi, everyone. This is Sam speaking. Thanks so much for tuning into this webinar. I'm going to pass it to my lovely colleague, Julia, to get us started with the next slide.
First up, we have Fantastic Lou. Drawn from real life, these tender and funny comics about a young boy named Lou are a joyful exploration of self-discovery and self-expression. Next slide, please. With the sweetest touch and most expressive lines, award-winning creator Chin Lang perfectly captures the emotional essence of young childhood while offering a celebration of imaginative play and fantasy worlds. Next slide. From his bedtime antics and rock and roll moves to his bathtub heroics and toilet musings, Lou will utterly charm readers of all ages. These little comics bound in this gorgeous hardcover collection are sure to be a hit with fans of comics like Charlie and Lola, Calvin and Hobbes, and Peanuts.
Adara, oh, sorry. Hold on, let me try that again. How to Talk to Your Succulent is one of my favorite graphic novels, perfect for fans of The Witches of Brooklyn and Raina Telgemeier. After her mom passes away, Adara and her dad move from California to Michigan to be closer to her grandmother. It's always been hard for Adara to talk to Dad, so she finds herself confiding in her new little succulent Pearl, and suddenly Pearl responds. Adara discovers that, like her mother, she has the ability to talk to plants and things start looking up. But Adara and Pearl both struggle to adapt to their new environment, and neither of them know how to ask for the help they need. With a touch of magic, this debut middle-grade graphic novel explores loneliness, mental health, and empathy, and shows how communication, openness, and a willingness to listen can help you navigate big feelings. I don't know anyone who has managed to get all the way through Zoe Persico's heartfelt graphic novel without crying at least once, and I highly encourage you to pick it up to see for yourself. It's available in both hardcover and paperback.
Next up, we have Viewfinder by Christine D.U. Chung and Salo Majoka. Viewfinder features a young space traveler who visits Earth on a whim and finds a planet empty of people. After happening upon a viewfinder that contains images of what the planet used to be like, she sets off on an adventure to see Earth as it was. Next slide, please. With lush and captivating art, Viewfinder is a wordless and transportive graphic novel for ages 6 and up. Next slide. Sorry, thanks. Viewfinder will draw readers in and leave them with a renewed sense of wonder for the resilient and extraordinary place we call home, while considering the ecological conservation message the story evokes.
Another standalone from 2024, The Gulf by Adam D'Souza, is a YA anti-coming-of-age road trip adventure that captures the angst and humor of being a teen during a time of great transition. As a kid, Ollie found a pamphlet for a remote island commune on a Gulf island off the coast of Vancouver and has been obsessed with it ever since. Now that high school is ending and the pressure to choose a career increases, she decides it's the perfect time to flee to the commune. Accompanied by Milo and his video camera, shy Alvin with secrets of his own, and Liam, Ollie's ex-best friend and sometimes love interest, Ollie attempts to find her place in the world. Available in both hardcover and paperback, The Gulf is the perfect YA crossover that captures the listlessness, restless energy, and raw emotion of being a teen at the end of high school. It was nominated for a Governor General's Literary Award for Young People in Canada, as well as an Eisner Award, and landed on numerous Best of the Year lists. If you missed The Gulf when it first came out, now's your chance to catch up.
Moving on, we have Boy vs. Shark by Paul Gilligan, a name you may recognize as the creator of Pluto Rocket. This hilarious graphic memoir about boyhood, toxic masculinity, and a shark named Jaws is perfect for middle grade readers. In the summer of 1975, 10-year-old Paul Gilligan doesn't have a whole lot to worry about. And then Jaws comes to town. Suddenly, everyone is obsessing over this movie about a shark ripping people to pieces. And if you haven't seen it, you're also kind of a wimp. Jaws leaves young Paul a cowering mess and underlines the growing gap between where he stands and the world's expectations of a boy's manliness. And when Jaws himself becomes a kind of macho Jiminy Cricket for Paul, what is a scared and overwhelmed boy to do? Paul has captured what it means to be a kid, especially a young boy, with amazing humor and universality.
Hello, reader heads. Meet your new favorite duo, Cabinhead and Treehead. Think Frog and Toad meets Bill and Ted, set in a world where everyone has something on their heads. In this first book, we get 6 laugh-out-loud adventures starring these two best buds. Whether drawing or hiding or just saying hello or bye-bye, Cabinhead and Treehead have fun together, support one another's ideas, and help each other overcome challenges. A perfect blend of genuinely funny hijinks, sweet optimism and inclusion, plus stories of supportive friendships, cooperation and teamwork, and managing emotions, Cabinhead and Treehead is a great intro to comics for emerging readers while still appealing to people of all ages. It's a goofy concept, but Hug Machine creator Scott Campbell makes it work, with characters like Volcano Head, Pool Head, Trash Can Head, and Box of Crayons Head populating the world and bringing the giggles. My favorite bit might be the bonus story time with Library Head at the end. I personally believe that I'm more of a dinosaur chicken nugget head, and if you want to know what would be on your head, make sure you check out our filter on TikTok.
Ahoy, readers! This graphic novel series truly needs no introduction. Head Under the Sea with Narwhal and Jelly by Ben Clanton with Book 10, A Waffle Lot of Love, hitting shelves at the end of this year. Narwhal is a happy-go-lucky narwhal, and Jelly is a no-nonsense jellyfish. The two might not have a lot in common, but they do both love waffles, parties, and adventures. This series is targeted for readers ages 6 and up and is available in many formats, including box sets, a new bind-up of books 1 and 2 called the Super Pod Party Pack. Try saying that 3 times fast. For young readers, we have Bubbles and Blanky. These Narwhal and Jelly board books are the perfect introduction to these silly characters for littles aged 0 to 3. And for readers aged 3 and up, we now have picture books. This book is dangerous, featuring everyone's favorite anxious jellyfish, swam onto shelves this past summer, and stay tuned for some seriously silly adventures coming soon. The latest book in this popular series, in stores at the end of this year, is A Waffle Lot of Love. Narwhal and Jelly, like myself, love celebrating Palentine's Day. When Jelly gives Narwhal a whaley nice card, Narwhal has no idea what to give him. One card isn't nearly enough, and soon Narwhal is flooding Jelly with gifts galore. But the only thing Jelly wants is the present of Narwhal's presence. Can Narwhal realize what true friendship means before they go off the deep end trying to please their pal? If you're looking for a way to entertain kids, and we have a gallon of downloadable activities, and be sure to celebrate Happy Narwhalidays with us on our Instagram on November 18th.
Did you know that a group of bunnies is called a fluffle? That may sound cute, but don't be fooled. These buns are bad to the bone, and in big city buns, they set their sights on taking over the whole city. We met Flop, Biggie, and Boingy in the first book, Buns Gone Bad, last summer, when, after being abandoned by their jujitsu-obsessed mother, they decided to take over the park where they live, no matter how many other creatures they had to fight with. Now that they've accomplished this first takeover, life has become boring, so, in search of new adventures, the 3 bad buns decide to take over the city, especially after an encounter with a group of city rats make them feel like small carrots. With irreverent humor, this is a graphic novel series that reluctant readers won't be able to get enough of. Available in both hardcover and paperback, the Fluffle Bunny series is perfect for fans of the Bad Guys and Anna Humphrey's previous series, Megabat. And don't think you've seen the last of the 3 bunnies. They've taken over the park, the city, and next stop, the world? Find out next spring in Book 3.
Blasting off to our next book, we have the hilarious and eye-popping early graphic novel series Pluto Rocket by Paul Gilligan. Paul may be familiar to some readers as the creator of the nationally syndicated Pooch Cafe comic strip. This series features Pluto Rocket, a friendly alien who, as soon as she lands on Earth, meets Joe Pidge, a streetwise pigeon who becomes her new best friend. Joe Pidge is not just a city bird, but also the stylish king of the neighborhood, and is enlisted in Pluto's secret mission to find out what life in the neighborhood is really like. Kids will love Pluto's boundless curiosity and optimism and her dynamic with Joe. And that's something reviewers have noticed too. The cooperation and optimism and friendship that's highlighted throughout the madcap adventures, sly comedy, and bright colors. With honors including a Doug Wright nomination, a Hackmatack Award, and a Junior Library Guild Gold Standard selection, Pluto Rocket has the silliness that will appeal to kid readers and the accolades adults will appreciate. We know young readers go through these books quickly, so you'll be happy to know the first 3 books are available now in hardcover and paperback, and the 4th, Pluto Rocket Over the Moon, will be hitting shelves this month.
Pluto Rocket and Joe Pidge may be one of my favorite duos, but if you want to talk favorite trios, look no further than Weenie, Frank, and Beans. Except they've recently been joined by a 4th furry friend, and someone, Weenie, is not happy about it. We've previously seen Weenie and his friends going out of their way to fill up on meatloaf, Weenie's favorite food, as well as building a machine to get more pancakes, Weenie's other favorite food, and this 3rd adventure introduces us to a new wiener dog named Sweetie Pie. Weenie loves his best friends Frank and Beans, and he also loves Bob, the guy who takes care of him. But he does not love Sweetie Pie, who shows up one day and tries to take Weenie's place by peeing on toys, messing with Bob's stuff, and, gasp, going after Weenie's breakfast sausages. Not So Sweetie Pie will appeal to fans of other Tundra buddy comedies like Narwhal and Jelly and Simon and Chester, and with simple text and hilarious illustrations, this is the perfect early graphic novel to hand to readers ready for a step up from picture books. And for the first time, you can get your paws on this new adventure in both hardcover and paperback simultaneously.
Finally, we have super duo Simon and Chester, based on the titular character from the best-selling picture book Sir Simon Super Scarer by Cale Atkinson. Simon and Chester are totally normal best friends, except that Simon is a ghost. Follow Simon and Chester's hilarious exploits in this not-to-be-missed early graphic novel series for ages 6 and up. Perfect for voracious readers, this completed series has all 6 books available in hardcover and paperback now. With Cale Atkinson's impressive illustrations, it's no wonder that Kirkus calls the 3rd book Super Family an abnormally good read and a winner for new readers in a Start review. It's sad to be saying boo-bye to this spooktacular series, but you can keep the spirit alive with Simon and Chester activity sheets that can be found on our website.
If you were excited by any of the books in this webinar and want swag to promote it to the young readers in your life, we have some excellent posters and sticker sheets, plus grab bags with a variety of buttons featuring our graphic novel characters that we want to send to a good home. Please email me to claim your Tundra loot bag. We'd love to stay in touch and talk more about all of Tundra's books this year. Please feel free to reach out to us via email or on social media. Thanks for listening, and thanks Booklist for hosting this webinar.
Thank you so much, Sam and Julia. Next, we'll hear from the Yen Press team. Morgana Santilli is the Sales and Marketing Coordinator at Yen Press. She is a former comic shop manager and buyer and always particularly loved helping readers find their new favorite series. Other than reading manga, Morgana enjoys drinking lots of tea, snuggling with her 2 black cats, and collecting too many books for her kids' personal library. Ingrid Lorenzi is the marketing assistant at Yen Press. A former bookseller and used book buyer at Strand Books, she's an avid fantasy reader and advocate for translated works. Aside from collecting old books and trying to win over her cat's affection, she spends her days scavenging for the best bubble tea places in the city and taking strolls in Central Park. Take it away, Morgana and Ingrid.
Thanks so much, Sarah, and thank you all for being here today. Once again, my name is Morgana Santilli. I am sales specialist at Yen Press, and joining me today is my colleague Ingrid.
Hello there, I'm Ingrid Lorenzi. I'm the marketing assistant at Yen Press.
I'm sure many of you are familiar already with Yen Press, but just in case you're not, we are a publisher mostly known for publishing manga. However, we do also publish novels, Korean comics, manhwa, and graphic novels for kind of all ages and middle grade. So without further ado, we're going to dive right into it, and Ingrid is going to start us off. Next slide, please.
All right, so starting with the throwback to the early 2010s, we first have a The Angel New Edition. This is a beloved series repackaged in a gorgeous 3-in-1 edition that was first published by Tokyopop as a single volumes, and now, almost 10 years later, it has sprung a new life. Next slide, please. For the unfamiliar, the angel follows Daisuke, a middle schooler who one day awakens into a new body, one of a very attractive and daring phantom thief. However, what is really interesting about the start of the angel is that most of his life, Daisuke has been trained for this moment. As you can see here, he has been trained to have super agility and really move like a thief, much like the ones from the Louvre, you might say. Next slide, please. Still, soon enough, Daisuke realizes that to trigger this body swap he has, he just needs to be in the vicinity of his own crush. So you can just imagine how this might make things pretty awkward for the young teen. Of course, aside from the romance portion, you also have a foe to this thief. And there are also some ties to the police and other different body swaps. So it's a really interesting and fun and entertaining read. Next slide, please. Now, I have a confession to make. I was not familiar with The Angel before reading the copy that we have in the office, and I also didn't watch the anime as a kid. But I am telling you this because even as someone that was not familiar with the series, I loved it, and I think my teenage self would have loved it too. Daisuke is truly a charming boy, one that comes across as extremely relatable. You know, sans the weird DNA thing, body swap thing that he has going on. So I think that you have readers that want something softer, something that, while it does have action, truly does a great job in capturing the highs and lows and those awkward teen moments that you're exploring while you're a teen. The Angel is the series for them. The first volume comes out this November, and it's just in time for Thanksgiving. Next slide, please. Switching gears to our December title, so we first have a Divine Incursion. I would define Divine Incursion as After God, but with less than that gory violence. So if you have any readers that are into Bungo Stray Dogs, but wanted a little bit more of those horror elements that are so on trend right now, Divine Incursion is the series to check out. Next slide, please. Following two investigators from a very special government department, this series is all about the mysteries and the strange phenomena that they come across. But there is also a tie in all of this. You see, Katajishi, the man on this slide, is on a mission to find his missing wife. But in the meantime, he has to deal with falling body parts, mysterious presences in the woods, and even mermaids. Next slide, please. Complete in 3 volumes, Divine Incursions makes for a creepy read that slowly builds up a momentum for a very terrific end. And if you like the first volume, then check out the light novel, The Source Material, also coming out this December. Next slide, please. If you have attended the New York Comic Con, you know that this is our biggest girls' love release of the year. We've given you Green Yuri, and now you need to get ready for Love Bullet. Next slide, please. Love Bullet puts a modernized spin on the Cupid occupation. You see, instead of a bow and arrows, this Cupid's weapon of choice is firearms, and really, to make people fall in love, they need to shoot them and even blast them with a grenade. Next slide, please. And at the center of this world, we have Koharu, a girl who has never experienced love, but she does get reborn as one of these Cupids, and now it's her job to bring people together. And if she can manage to do her job well enough, she can earn the right to reincarnation. Next slide, please. So with incredible world building, rich in human drama, action, and actually bittersweet love because Koharu has some ties to the past that she needs to get resolved, Love Bullet is the girl's love manga of the moment and the one to have on your radar this winter. Next slide, please. Now, I have spoken of the greatness of Love Bullet, and to continue in that vein, we have another great title, and one that personally, it might be one of my favorite releases of the year. This is how strongly I feel about Wonder Boy. If you're familiar with Kazumi Yamashita, of which we have previously published Land this September, you know things that are about to get really deeply philosophical with her. And Wonder Boy follows a mysterious youth that has a time travel ability, so he travels to different periods of time and also different parts of the world. There are instances where he goes back to ancient Greece to have a dialogue with Socrates, or even to Antarctica, and he stumbles upon something that is very out of the pages of James Cook's exploration. And through this lens, we discuss war, love, and all the complicated and sometimes unsavory parts that make humanity human. Next slide, please. So this mangaka has a very strong voice and a peculiar style that really aims for the heart of the more literary inclined reader. If you're a big fan of a shoujo manga, older shoujo manga, and just say titles like The Heart of Thomas by Moto Hajo, or big stories with a big cast like Mitchell's Cloud Atlas and The Ministry of Time, then One Joy is the series for you. And I know that I compared these to older titles, to more adult titles, but don't be afraid of placing this series in the hands of your older teenagers. It is an incredibly educational read and so worth it. Next slide, please.
All right, I'm going to take over now. Thanks, Ingrid. Next up, we have a new offering in our Eyes Press imprint. Our Eyes Press imprint is the one that publishes exclusively Korean content. In this case, we will be publishing I Love Amy. This is the first girls' love title for Eyes Press. It's a very exciting moment for girls' love. As Ingrid was talking about Love Bullet, you saw that's been very hyped by fans, and of course, the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all, has also been very big. So we expect big things from I Love Amy coming out at the tail end of this year, the end of December. So this is a story about BB. BB is in love with a boy named Peter, but she's pretty sure that Peter likes another girl named Amy, and BB's not the kind of girl who lets that kind of thing go. Next slide, please. BB is possessive and obsessive and jealous, and she does not want to let Amy get in her way. So she decides to get closer with Amy and use Amy as kind of her wing lady to get into Peter's good graces. Next slide, please. But as you can see, as BB and Amy grow closer, BB's affections kind of shift. This is a title that I've heard described as twisted yet tender. So you do have some themes of possessiveness and obsessiveness and some mentions of abuse. However, this is still a really fun series. There is a lot of comedy, and at the end of it all, there is a happy ending. So even though this series deals with darker themes, it is still appropriate for teenagers. As you can see, it is a full color offering, like all of our Eyes Press titles are. It is complete in 4 volumes, which is really great for shelf space. I know that is a major concern for a lot of libraries. Next slide, please. The print edition of I Love Amy comes with some extra short comics at the end of each volume. These were not originally available online with the webcomic, so this is absolutely all new content that readers are going to be very excited to get their hands on. And once again, even though this series does deal with dark themes, it is still appropriate for a teen audience and might be a good way for teenagers to safely interface with some of this heavy material. And again, still a happy ending at the end. Next slide, please. This is a series I am very excited about. Not a series, a standalone actually. Hinatsugi is a horror title coming out in January of next year. This is a mature title from us. Horror is a consistently very popular genre in manga, and fans of works by Junji Ito, for example, or even our own The Summer Hikaru Died, are going to be excited about Hinatsugi. This is a single volume hardcover that recounts the tale of a group of college students who stumble upon a mountain village with a dark and mysterious secret. And if they try to escape, they may not make it out alive. So their choice is really to just stay there or die. Again, great for fans of haunted place stories, not just haunted houses, but haunted villages. I mentioned Junji Ito. I think Uzumaki is a good kind of read-alike. I would also say just any one of the great appeals of this, as you can see from the cover, is the gorgeous artwork. So fans of beautiful, horrible stories, I think, will really get into this. Next slide, please. So once again, this is dark, sensual, beautifully illustrated, great for fans of folklore and supernatural stories. From our own titles, things like Phantom Tales of the Night, that is both beautiful and very gruesome, I think is a really good kind of read alike. So once again, this is for older audiences, but a really great horror read to put in somebody's hands. Next slide, please. Scenes from Awajima is the latest offering from Takako Shimura, who is the creator of Sweet Blue Flowers, a wonderful girls' love series that was published a few years back, I believe by Viz. As you can see from this cover here, it has Shimura's signature gentle artwork, watercolor artwork style. I'm really a fan of her work. Very excited about this. So this is not a girls' love story, not exclusively. This series centers on the day-to-day lives of girls at a prestigious opera school. So it's a great read for fans of slice of life stories, realistic school dramas, as it follows these various girls throughout their school career in this very prestigious academy. Next slide, please. This series is complete in 5 volumes, which is again another nice short series for your shelves, and would appeal to fans of series like, of course, Sweet Blue Flowers, but also anything that has kind of a musical education edge. Also, Rock is a Lady's Modesty is a series that we published that I think is a good read alike. Kageki Shoujo from Seven Seas, and our own Carolyn Tuesday. An anime adaptation of this series is scheduled for 2026, so getting ahead of that kind of wave of interest may be wise. Next slide, please. And the final series I'm going to talk about today, another adult offering, is Battle Royale Deluxe Edition. Some of you who have been into manga for a while may recognize Battle Royale. Ingrid started off this presentation with DN Angel, and I'm finishing it with Battle Royale, which we are also bringing back into print after a long time away. This series is a gruesome, violent, hyper-violent, in fact, classic with some really incredible retro artwork, gritty, nostalgic. This edition that we are publishing, this is a hardcover 3-in-1 omnibus. It is very similar to the Berserk 3-in-1 omnibuses, deluxe editions, if you're familiar with those. Same format. And, Battle Royale, the original novel, inspired a whole genre of Battle Royale stories and death game stories. So I think this is going to be really popular, inspired stories like Hunger Games. Next slide, please. As you can see there is a novel as well, and we're very excited to be bringing this back. This is coming out in early 2026 in January, so keep an eye out for this. Next slide, please. That is all from us. Please feel free to contact us if you need anything, and there are email addresses right there, and I'm going to pass it back to Sarah. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Morgana and Ingrid. Our final presenter will be Jeffrey Lapid. Jeffrey is a publishing professional with over 10 years of experience working with comic books, graphic novels, and children's picture books. Bring us home, Jeffrey.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks very much for being here. My name is Jeffrey Lapid. I'm the Associate Sales Manager for Mad Cave Studios, as well as all of our imprints. I'll be talking to you today about some highlights from our list that are coming to you over the next couple of months. Next slide, please. Up first, I'll be talking about some of our Mad Cave books. Mad Cave focuses on genre-forward storytelling for teen and adult audiences from some of the most exciting creators in comics. Next slide, please. First is Buried Long, Long Ago. Buried Long, Long Ago is a historical fiction graphic novel based on the true story of Belle Gunnis, otherwise known as Hell's Belle, the American serial killer who would lure men to her farm in Indiana and murder them. Next slide, please. It's dark, it's horrifying, it's tense, it's really expertly executed by 2 masters of horror comics, writer Anthony Cleveland and artist Alex Cormack, who also did the art on one of my favorite Mad Cave horror graphic novels, The Devil That Wears My Face. Next slide, please. The writing and art really convey the haunting and isolating atmosphere of the American farmlands at the turn of the 20th century. And I think the story will stick with readers for a really long time. It's a great fit for horror fans, obviously, but I think fans of things like true crime podcasts and documentaries, and fans of moody Gothic Americana like Ethel Cain's music will really dig it too. So Buried Long, Long Ago will be in stores on November 25th. Next slide, please. Next is The Pale Knight. I'm really excited about The Pale Knight because I'm a longtime Peter Milligan fan. This series feels like a return to the sort of trippy, experimental thoughtfulness of his work on Shade the Changing Man, but it's also heavily inspired by the bleak sensibility and emotional depth of Ingmar Bergman's classic film, The Seventh Seal. The beautiful and brutal art of Val Rodriguez is the perfect complement to this complex graphic novel meditation on life, death, faith, and duty. Next slide, please. The Pale Knight follows the story of a weary knight returning from the Crusades who makes a deal with death in order to save his son from the Black Plague. Next slide, please. This graphic novel plunges readers deep into a deadly world where the lines between life, death, and morality blur in the most chilling way. Fans of early 2000s era Vertigo comics are really going to enjoy the brooding but thoughtful tone mixed in with the unsettling and eerie horror. This will be in stores on December 23rd. Next slide, please. Next, we'll move on to our worldwide manga line, Nakama Press. This is our new imprint, and it focuses on publishing manga from all over the world. Next slide, please, is first is A Little Step, Volume 1. This is a manga inspired by creator Mimi Zeto's own life. A Little Step is a tender, slow burn coming of age story about connection, courage, and chasing your dreams. With soft, expressive artwork and emotionally grounded storytelling, this book is perfect for fans of Blue Period, Whisper Me a Love Song, and A Silent Voice. Next slide, please. A Little Step was the bronze medal winner in the Hong Kong Comics Support Program in 2022, and we're really happy to be publishing it for the first time in English. Next slide, please. I think this will really connect with teen audiences, especially those who have more of an artistic streak about them. One thing that really stood out to me about this book is that the usual high school teen drama, it's present, but it takes a bit of a back seat. And instead, there's a real focus on the friendship that's built between the two main characters' passion for creating art. I think readers will be inspired by watching that initial connection blossom and develop into this sort of deeper thing. It's really satisfying to see. This book's going to be in stores on November 4th. Next slide, please. Our next title is Naraka Warrior, Volume 1. Naraka Warrior is a searing, supernatural cyberpunk thriller from Hong Kong-based creators, writer Albert Ng and artist Jerry Cho. This manhwa fuses Buddhist eschatology with brutal existential horror in a karmic underworld where justice is absolute and mercy is rare. Next slide, please. After a catastrophic accident, the souls of the dead find themselves in a liminal predicament that straddles life and death. Guided by the maiden messengers, two enemies must face life's judgment. The plaintiff can channel his resentment into a murderous power, while the defendant can trade his own soul for a chance at life by destroying others' souls. They embark on a brutal journey of imbuing their souls with power and deciding how to wield it in order to survive. Next slide, please. Part courtroom drama, part afterlife adventure, it's a wild ride through the choices that shape who we are. With sharp twists and a heart-pounding race for redemption, it asks, what would you do if your soul were on the line? This book will be out on November 11th. Next slide, please. We're going to move on to our Maverick imprint, which focuses on graphic novels for YA readers. Next slide. Okay, our first graphic novel I'm talking about here is A Buzz. This is by Amy Chase and Stella Dia. Sparks and stingers will fly in this modern reimagining of Shakespeare's classic romantic comedy, Much Ado About Nothing. Next slide, please. In the tradition of Shakespeare-based teen classics like 10 Things I Hate About You and She's the Man, A Buzz brings some modern flavor to Much Ado About Nothing, bringing in a diverse cast of LGBTQ characters and the complicated politics of high school, while keeping with the fast-paced comedic wit of the beloved play. Next slide, please. A buzz makes Shakespeare more accessible and less dated to YA audiences. And I think that adding in the LGBTQ characters and different gender identities brings in some interesting new dimensions to the relationships and social dynamics of the characters. This will be in stores on November 18th. Next slide, please. Our next Maverick title is Queen Kodiak, and it's the graphic novel debut of writer Christopher Greenslade. Queen Kodiak centers on Joey Fox, an embattled 17-year-old girl and natural empath. After the recent death of her mother, Joey is sent to Alaska's Kodiak Island to live with the man who left them 10 years ago, her state trooper father. Next slide, please. On a walk through the forest one day, Joey befriends a giant bear cub. Unfortunately, this is the cub of Queen Kodiak, a colossal supercharged Kodiak grizzly bear, one who survived from the Ice Age and who's been irreversibly enhanced by a mysterious geothermal energy from the unknown depths of an Alaskan ice cave. And although Queen Kodiak's been asleep for thousands of years, melting ice and subsequent tectonic activity has disturbed her hibernation, and she's woken up to find her only cub missing. Next slide, please. This is an American kaiju story about a giant grizzly bear tearing through the Pacific Northwest. And I think that's awesome, but at its heart, it's about dealing with grief and the pain of loss. More importantly, I think YA readers are really going to love Joey. For the first chunk of this graphic novel, she really walks around like a raw nerve. She's still so deeply affected by the loss of her mother. But as the story develops and as Joey learns more about Queen Kodiak, she's able to summon an inner courage and resilience, and I think readers will find that really heartwarming and uplifting. Queen Kodiak will be in stores on December 9th. Next slide, please. Rack and Rune is our next Maverick title. It's the graphic novel debut of TV writer Chris Capel. 19-year-old Rory was born into the secret magical society known only as the Translators, and for his entire life he's enjoyed all the wealth and privilege that his enchanted bloodline brings, as long as he keeps it secret. Next slide, please. One night, after sneaking out of his family's penthouse apartment, Rory meets Tyson, a regular guy with no knowledge of the Translators or their magical gifts. The two start to fall in love, but things threaten to fall apart when Rory reveals his secret, and Tyson asks a question that Rory's never thought about. Why keep your magic a secret when so many could be helped by it? Rack and Rune is a graphic novel romantasy that examines the intersection of power and privilege. Much like in our world, in the world of Rack and Rune, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and more aspects of society are behind a paywall that very few can afford. This is a good story that can start that conversation for teens. Excuse me. Next slide, please. Rory's story is very much a coming out story. Rory comes out about his sexuality to his friends and family, and he also comes out to Tyson about his magical abilities. Writer Chris Capel says, ultimately, the moral of the story of Rack and Rune is that there is a remedy to all of society's greatest challenges, and that remedy is human connection, compassion, and love. This will be in stores on December 2nd. Next slide, please. Okay, and next we have our Papercutz titles. Papercutz is our children's and middle grade graphic novel imprint. All of these titles will be perfect for readers ages 7 to 12. Next slide, please. We'll start off with the Smurfs Holiday Special. Middle grade readers who loved this year's Smurfs movie starring Rihanna can keep the excitement going through the winter with the release of the Smurfs Holiday Special. Next slide, please. This is a collection of winter holiday-themed Smurf stories featuring all of your favorite Smurf friends, as well as the big guy himself, Santa Claus. It will be available November 4th, which means it's coming out just in time to be the perfect stocking stuffer for Smurfs fans old and new. Next slide, please. Yeah, and that's a little bit more Santa Claus there. Next slide, please. Up next is the Casagrandes, Freezing and Frio. This is by the creators of Loud House and Casagrandes. Get ready to chill with the Casagrandes in this volume, collecting 8 all-new winter holiday-themed stories featuring characters from both the Casagrandes and the Loud House series. Next slide, please. All sorts of snow-covered holiday adventures await in this Familia Grande, so put on your best ugly sweater, pick up some snowballs, and join in on the fun. Featuring 50 pages of all-new comics created by the talent behind the Emmy-nominated series The Loud House and the Casagrandes. Next slide, please. Casagrande's Freezing and Frio will be in stores on November 25th. Next slide. Phineas and Ferb's Amazing Creature Double Feature. You may already be familiar with Papercutz' Phineas and Ferb Classic Comics collection. Those reprint the Phineas and Ferb comics from old, hard-to-find issues of Disney Magazine. But Phineas and Ferb's Amazing Creature Double Feature is the first of our line of original Phineas and Ferb graphic novels. Next slide, please. This first volume features 2 all-new, original, never-before-seen stories written by Scott Peterson and Josh Pruitt in collaboration with the original creators of the cartoon, Dan Povenmire and Jeff Marsh. Next slide, please. Phineas and Ferb's Amazing Creature Double Feature kicks off our original graphic series with a bang. This one's got everything from oversized insects, deadly traps, giant robots, and an overgrown feral Perry the Platypus, and more insanely hilarious inventions than ever. You'll find Phineas and Ferb's Amazing Creature Double Feature in stores on December 30th. Next slide, please. And my last title today is The New Adventures of Zootopia 2, Better Together. After solving Zootopia's biggest mystery, ZPD officers Hops and Wild are ready to make the world an even better place. Next slide, please. Whether they're dealing with delicious exploding packages or a suspicious foundling, Judy and Nick realize that not every case is huge, but they are all important. Next slide, please. I'm sorry, let's go back. So this Zootopia is The New Adventures of Zootopia 2 is part of our New Adventures line of Disney comics. These kind of develop and expand on the world of the movies. So you'll find all of your favorite characters from Zootopia and Zootopia 2, as well as some new characters added into the mix in this new graphic novel. The first Zootopia movie grossed $1 billion worldwide, and it won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. Zootopia, so it's really popular. Zootopia 2 will be in theaters November 26th, and fans of the movie will be able to keep it going with our graphic novel, The New Adventures of Zootopia 2. And this is on sale December 9th. Next slide, please. Okay, so that's all for me. Thank you again for taking the time to be here, and thank you to our friends at Booklist for putting all of this together. If you'd like any information or samples or previews or anything else from any of our books, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. So thanks again, and I'll pass it back to the Booklist team.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey, and a huge thank you to all of today's wonderful panelists. Tomorrow, all attendees will receive an email containing links to today's video recording, slide presentation, title list, and the certificate of completion. For more about Booklist webinars, be sure to visit booklist.online.com/webinars, where you can view archives of past webinars and register for upcoming ones like those you see here. Thank you again for joining us for today's webinar, and a huge thank you to our panelists, and our sponsors, Oni Press, Tundra Books, Yen Press, and Papercutz. This concludes today's webinar. See you next time.